Hi, everybody. This is Joanna. Thank you so much for tuning in and connecting with the Early Morning Ascension show, although it might not be early morning when you watch this. Thank you so much for tuning in and connecting with us. What a gorgeous day. It's had a real change of weather here, just a quick transition of energy that was 19 degrees a day 2 days ago, and now it was snowing yesterday, and now it's all sunny again. And that's just in correspondence and coincidence with all that we're changing as a collective, as all that we are, the every heart within each and every one of us chooses to wake up every morning and to become anew. Because remember, the evolutionary process is a 24/7 experience, and you're doing so much in your dream time. Your teams are doing so much to prepare you and to open you up into higher versions of you, the allness of you. Remembering that we are all epicenters of light, physical, mentally, emotionally, etheric, the multidimensional magnetic fields that we all exist within. The bodies of you are constantly sending and receiving energies and light pulsations. And why it's really important that we create that daily self-care to align within our centeredness, to call in our consciousness as light and truth and love, so that we're constantly centering within the pillar of light that we are as source creator. And when we have that centering experience, we have that greater clarity and confidence of who we are to walk about our world, begin navigating consciously and begin navigating in the presence of who we are as spirit. That essence of beautiful spirited light creating in matter. And to have that confidence within who we are, to also emulate that to the children, which they need so very much, so that they can not feel afraid or sad or exposed when they want to speak their truth and their voice, and becoming their uniqueness and honoring their uniqueness. We're all learning it through one another. We're all learning it in the reflections of one another. And so today what we wanted to talk about is, which is something that, I've been learning about tuning into, because I'm able to experience things in a multidimensionally rich way. And because of the Christ consciousness fields that I walk in, and the new gifts that I'm opening into, which are really profound at an earthly level, because I'm opening into new Gaia energy. And so I'm really, really going to be excited to do some sacred travels this year on land, and really, really, suss into all of these beautiful cosmic consciousness energies with Gaia and with the Elohim, the Christ consciousness grids and the crystalline grids, and all that we are is becoming more crystalline, because I can feel it changing every day. It's becoming so beautiful and so light, and so exciting to celebrate who we are becoming as one. And that's really what the human experience is really all about. And this morning it was about the grander understanding of oneness. And although there's many cliches, in the New Age community and awakening, but it takes true intention and purity of being vulnerable at your own heart to truly want to experience oneness. And it goes beyond what words can express, because again, you're in this now moment, we're calling in the availability of all that we are in all timelines, all realms, all bodies. And all moments are those experiences that the soul calls in and of itself to harmonize another aspect of vibrational potential for that oneness. And oftentimes we can just perceive every moment as a neutral experience of a vibrational game. They were showing me when I was moving through these experiences of having the traumas and the healings that I'd gone through, and feeling those somewhat glitching moments where your bodies and your soul and your spirit remembers the pain and the suffering, and so you go into glitch and you trigger, and then it pulls you back into a reclining self-protective mode. And so to work through that is just to honor everything as a neutral experience with source, and release the stories as quickly as possible, because we are accelerating. So the process of enlightenment and awakenment is when you have those moments of trigger, to soften within the presence of who you are in neutrality. And it's just all vibrational palette with source. Whatever deep traumas and deep wounds and energies that are coming up for you to face and bring into wholeness, you can soften through the balance of all being neutral, of all being this beautiful experience and this beautiful game of energy with source. And they were showing me this beautiful board game like Monopoly, and how, the boardwalk, and there's different vibrations and different energies that you move along. And although it's not a game board, step and linear experience that way, it's more like this multi-dimensional Vesica Pisces. And this Vesica Pisces board game, that in all moments, in this now moment, you're calling up those aspects, say on a third dimensional earth where a life ended tragically, or another dimensional experience, or this experience from your collective, or this experience from your lineage, whatever in this now moment is calling up a vibration for you to perceive and view, you have the potential just to anchor in the presence of oneness and neutrality without judgment. And that's a big one, because when we go into those moments of, remembering the pain that was caused, or the, and we do this with our families sometimes, because families are often the ones we have the most contention with. And that's for a reason. We contract that for allowance of our stretching of the soul into compassion and love and forgiveness. And so allowing yourself to expand in the neutrality of all that you are as this essence of God, and then you get to choose how you want to infuse your light, your creativity, and your honor of it. And to know that it's releasing all of the defensiveness of what the ego and the 3D stories that we've been telling each other have always been about. Because many of those contentious energies are karmic cycles that are now breaking away. They're breaking away because so many are awakening into the idea that, well, I can play consciously in this and create something different and get off that cycle. Get off that merry-go-round of karmic energy that seems to just go nowhere. And you can choose from this neutral place of saying, okay, well, that doesn't feel good for me. So the next time, which you can do that, you can tell your teams that you want to expand in creating for yourself compassionate interaction. So you can test this profundity of neutrality and this profundity of oneness that you get to play with. And that's how you get to expand and contract your reality, so that you play with your soul's gifts, the embracing of your allness, and call your teams in and say, I'd like to practice this moment of compassion. I'd like to practice this moment of my soul's gift to do this. Provide me with an opportunity where I get to connect with someone where previously there were many experiences of contentiousness and defensiveness. I want to be able to soak within this moment so that I can portray it in a way that there's no longer any dissension. I'm just accepting you for all that you are. I get to stand in my truth and my power of who I am, and not be swayed by the vibrations of those that usually when there are those contentious energies, is they want to pull you back into their story of what they held you as, because it's fearful for them to be in that story by themselves. And so you standing in your power and in your truth just says, but you can choose to do something different, because I'm not going to go back to that vibration anymore. And so you can choose to press that out and still say, and I still accept you as oneness. And then you can direct your energy and your focus to somewhere else. So we're constantly given those moments to test ourselves in the alignment again with who we are as source, to stand in your own inner light, in your own inner power, to know that every moment is that beautiful Vesica Pisces board game like Monopoly. Monopoly unity, where we're honoring the oneness in what we're being shown and what we're calling in, because our soul wants it. Our soul wants us to say, I can absolutely stand in my truth, and no matter who's standing before me, I know who I am as spirit. And I know the value of who I am. I know the worth of who I am and my voice and all of my experiences that have culminated my sense of oneness now. And I honor you and your oneness and your path that you're moving on. And to release the judgment of it. And because so many of us, absolutely, my experience, when you're coming out of those experiences, we tend to judge that experience. And so my teams were saying this morning is just allow the moment to be a part of oneness. It's this beautiful game, and every square has a different color, has a different thread, and have a different vibration and a different story to teach you and learn from. You are each teachers and students to one another. There is no greater than or less than or better than or not equal to. They're all moments of oneness in the vibration of source. And you can call up any vibration you want to call in that greater unity of it, because a week heretofore, you said, that's not me. I'm judging that because it feels so uncomfortable and it feels wrong. Well, it's all right. It's just a matter of how much distance of separation have you held between it and you, because it is you. Your soul is saying you're strong enough to call it forward and say, I can create oneness with this. You don't have to entangle with it and engage with it, but you can still see it as the board game of all that source offers you as oneness. It's all included, everything in our universe. So that's kind of preparing us for the eventuation of when all borders on our country, we can say micro, macro, when all borders in our countries are now released, and in the next 10 to 15, 20 years, many borders of neighboring countries will be released and start to work together in unity and fairness and collaborating for socio-altruism instead of trying to overtake an economy and trying to get the best out of one another for their goods and services and creating certain taxes and tariffs. And these will be shaken up and lifted up as we begin to see, okay, well, how can we work in the greatest and highest of oneness with one another and really serving each other with greater ecology and greater fairness and greater love for one another? Because it only works within the benefit of oneness. It only works within the benefit of unity, where we can share one another's oceans. We can share one another's lands as beauty and as representations of oneness and sharing. because that's Gaia. Gaia never had the intention for her land and for her home to be broken up in all of these borders and walls and boundaries and, you know, territories of, you know, hatred and dissension. Who is it for us to say that we own any land? You know, she is a conscious body. She is a live conscious body. And we have taken it upon ourselves to separate it and break it up and build upon it and blast on it and then own it and say, where is Gaia's consciousness in this? Where is her value and her loving heart within it? And are we living in symbiosis of it? Are we caring for it and saying, I want to do the best that I can because this is the future world and I'm going to be back again. So how can I bring the highest light and start healing and being a part of this oneness contract? And this is the part where you're not releasing all fears and all of those trigger energies because of all of those psyche wounds and these experiences through which there was great pain, death, and harm in the energies and the vibrations and the worlds that you don't remember. Because you remember, right now is all there is. So anytime you have those great triggers of fear is because they're linked with other timelines. You're linked with your Akash. They're linked with your lineage of thousands of beings that you're helping clear. Our world in and of itself, a collective family, is clearing separation and subjugation. So each and every one of us at every level, depending on where we are at in our ascension and how much we've cleared, we take on collective energies to also clear. And why we call in those opportunities to say, I can add voice to this because I've cleared part of my own individual soul's karma. And I want to be a part of healing the collective. Again, it's a game. And we don't have to react anymore because that's ego. Oh, I'm not safe, you know, and that's how ego reacts. And we all do it, you know, because that's just they're calling it the pattern of being in those states of limitation, separation. But we can just present ourselves in source where all wisdoms reside, where all oneness resides, all spirit, all energies from all over the universe reside within the presence. And we can see and live as ourselves in that neutrality and just release all judgment of it and embrace it as our oneness. I'm really embracing this energy of oneness right now, and I'm not going to judge this experience or the one standing before me. It's an aspect of me that through reflection, you can say, well, that was a part of me when I was a child that got rejected or what was not loved and heard and valued. So when you look in those moments where you feel those trigger, or you really, really want something, or you really, really desire something and you're not getting it, go to those moments where you can just sit in soft stillness and presence and say, why is it that I want this so much? And normally you'll go back to say, well, that was a part of your rejection from when you were a child. So just give it to yourself. You don't need it from anybody or anything outside of you. We, again, like we said yesterday, we see that and we place everything outside of us because that's how the mind thinks of it, of itself. But we are now remembering our oneness. We're embracing our oneness and our wholeness, which means it's always within. We create the outer experience because we've forgotten that it is only within. Because from our earliest days, we've been separated from spirit. We are now all in spirit. And there's some aspects of spirit that have been rejected, that have been abandoned, that have been abused, that have been traumatized, that have been whatever those experiences have been in all lifetimes. And so each and every one of us are here to bring it to the forefront and put it on the game board and say, okay, whatever comes up, I'm going to face it with great embrace, and I'm going to bring neutrality to it so that it no longer continues the perpetuation of separateness or judgment. Because we are preparing as the borders of our countries come down and we create that oneness. Even though we may not be able to speak the same language of oneness or intellectualism, or this is really going to be big for socio-altruism, when the countries that have can share with the countries that have not in unique and different ways that we've never done before, in unique and creative, what's the word you're giving me, Soros? Creative benevolence of benefactorhood. The word that coming to, there's a word to do with finances and money. I don't know what that word is because it's not, we don't have it yet. It's not philanthropy and altruism. It's different. We haven't come up with it yet, but there will be, and I hope to be a part of that. I hope to be a part of those experiences for planet Earth, where we're coming with the higher vibrational potentials. We're coming with the higher vibrational potentials to call in those higher vibrational wisdoms from other planets that can assist us in our world's most needed experiences of social need and unity need and health need and ecological need. And that's where each and every one of us have those innate destiny desires, because each and every one of you come with a destiny soul blueprint. Why am I here? What are my gifts? How can I add to the beauty of this planet? How can I add to the richness and beauty of me? When you're stepping out of self-service and you're stepping into oneness service, because each and every one of you come with those gifts from all that you are as a soul, and you're honoring and believing in being in yourself as this altruistic being of light, where you're communicating and sending and receiving energy. You're living in your oneness. All experiences are an aspect of you. And when those borders come down, we get to then rebuild and reinvent our world as one. Thus then the micro macro preparing us for our galactic and celestial brothers and sisters in galactic oneness. To be able to not judge anything before us, even though these beings may be. So they're saying that, I'm doing clearing right now. That's how powerful that is. That they were showing me that in some of the experiences that I've been moving through, because of the trauma that I had experienced, my body just goes into self-preservation, and I just go inner, and I protect that inner heart of mine. And so now they're saying that because I was holding judgment on those experiences and not being neutral within it, to stand within my own power and say that's not going to affect me anymore. And when you do that, you allow that oneness just to flow between you, and it's no longer us and them. It's no longer light and dark. It's no longer you hurt me, I didn't hurt you kind of thing. That's allowing the oneness of love to flow and heal the situation. Your heart is open. You're going to say, this is just neutral. I'm allowing love to heal the situation. That doesn't mean you're entangling in something that doesn't serve you any longer. There's a difference. When you just open and allow love to flow in a healing reciprocation, you can choose not to entangle with anything that lowers your vibration or your light. And that takes mastery and takes practice. So ask your teams to call those energies in, because that is the path of mastery. You must practice it. Because it's so easy to get pulled back into those cycles of pushing and pulling on energy and the magnetics of, karmic energy, wanting to pull you back into, familiar cycles of, despair and despondency and dissonance and all of those words, disempowerment, control, and they're all illusory programs. They're not there anymore. And some of us carry those habitual patterns. It's just so easy to fall back into, because we've been here for eons, the old souls, we've been here forever, infinite number of lifetimes. And it's just so easy to fall back in, especially if you have families that are steeped in those types of behaviors and belief patterns. And that's okay. It's all relevant. But to not be afraid of any one moment and just allow it to all be neutral. You're constantly held in the arms of spirit and the hands of spirit. Thank you, teams. And the blessedness of spirit and source is always with you. You always have your higher self in your soul. When you're aligned with your higher self in your soul, you're attracting more of what you shall choose. You align with intention of who you are as oneness today. You attract the vibrations of who you are as creative experience of your own soul's expression and experience. And that's the magnetics that you hold. In those moments of release and letting it go and using that daily self-care, you can then allow yourself to slip within that neutrality of oneness and say, I'm no longer going to fear these experiences or these energies, because it's all source, it's all the game. And then you can align in your power, standing in your oneness with source, standing in your pillar of light with source, serving light. And as you do so, it just becomes an experience of varying vibrations. And you don't have to slip within any lower vibration or higher vibration or whatever you want. It's just a simple neutral experience. Then in your presence of your higher self and your soul, you then get to choose what is said. You then get to choose how to behave and how to respond. Remember, responsivity is through spirit, because you allow and see it from the highest perspective, and then you choose how to respond and how to say and how to speak, because it's spirit. Therefore, aligning the highest potentiation of a new outcome, and opening your heart for source, just to allow love to bleed through any dissonance and discord. Because it's honoring all beings in the picture as one, because that experience of what you think might be a lower vibration or a disconnected vibration, or one of that causes, disgruntledness or discern, even if there are people at work that you just can't seem to connect with. They're there to show you that you have the power to bring neutrality to it. You have the power to bring and infuse light into it. Every moment has our potential to infuse love and light into it. And just say, I'm going to allow this opportunity to be where I allow neutrality to be the gift of source. And then you open up your experience of heart and soul, and you just allow love to present itself. And then you come away with, wow, I saw that. I really could do that. And I'm going to honor them in their oneness for teaching me to see things from a new perspective, and honor them as a part of the game, but also stand on my truth. I mean, that's a multidimensional soul's growth right there. You can feel those momental growths. Those are called integrations. Soul integrations, where your teams and you, it's always you, present yourself calling in vibrational experiences so that you can integrate the master of who you are. You're actually acknowledging it. You're accepting it as a part of your new mastery, and then you're allowing something new to begin. So those are the 3 A's of ascension. When you acknowledge where you're at and who you are, what you are, and what's going on within you, and you accept it as a part of your soul's gift to learn and grow, because that's all the soul wants, is experience and expression and exploration. And then you allow something new to begin. And that's that constant now moment. This is how much work we're doing in all moments. And then embracing it all. It's all a beautiful game. It's all beautiful. We get little pegs and we get the roll the dice. What am I going to play with today? And choose the alignment of who you are and what you choose to play with. And then you can move your game piece, if you will, the body and the vessel of light that you are, into these various vibrational experiences, all neutral. Then you absolutely have, in those moments of neutrality, the beautiful blessing and synchronicities when source really blesses you with a vibrational gift. And then you create with your beautiful joy. Allow your inner excitement to be that co-creation of new reality, because that's what our feelings and our emotions are all about. How can I create as the excited child that I am, and being in blessedness of that experience? And so just understanding your reality that's accelerating and changing so quickly, your body is changing so quickly, you're awakening to new experiences, you're awakening to heightened vibrations of your higher consciousness. And every day just set that higher vibration. Today I will experience a higher vibrational consciousness of me. Because as the borders around our worlds break, and the city borders, and borders that we had between schools, and the health and wellness borders, and all of those things, they're all going to come down, because they're never really were there. Our consciousness now is so high that we can start infusing our light, infusing our creative ideas, infusing all that we are as these beautiful, excited, compassionate beings of change, and bring neutrality to it all, and say, now how can we really create something that serves a greater good, and all voices are lifted and heard. And as this occurs, and as this beautiful world wave, this beautiful rainbow crystalline wave just washes over our planet, because we're now believing in ourselves as beautiful, infinite beings of oneness. We're embracing our oneness now. It's not a game of us and them anymore. There's just a beautiful portrayal of our oneness. And in all moments, we want to accept one another, because we both allow one another to see our very best. And even sometimes when it is what we say as our worst, they're just words that we use to say that you're now teaching me how to be compassionate and how to be loving towards myself and towards you, because I was there a year ago, and so it's just a beautiful game of oneness that we allow ourselves to expand within our hearts and just accept it all and forgive it all. And as we do so, we allow ourselves for our sisters and brothers in other dimensions to visit and be with us, because every moment as you're awakening to your excitement of your oneness, we have these beautiful experiences at night when we're in our dream time, and things are just happening around our house, and our celestial families and teams are visiting us and helping heal us and just play with us. And oftentimes, there's many of the children that I'm constantly with, thank you children, and they're constantly just playing in the house vibrationally, and I hear the doors, the doors creak and the wood creaks, and all of those experiences, just your teams making themselves more presentable to you. So it's why it's good for your daily self-care to also call in, I call them the universal crystal dragons, and the universal crystal dragons are part of the Sophia mother energy, and they just help bathe and cleanse your house. And it's just like this beautiful, this dragon tail that just washes your house and just bathes your house from all negative energies, and just to help you clear and cleanse the energies on a daily and weekly basis, just to keep your space and your energies as sacred. You remember, you are the epicenter, so is your house. And so intend that sacredness, and just send love and light to your walls, and send love and light to your healing space. And I've often shown on many of my videos that when I sit down and I say we're going to commune for sacred connection today, I already start clearing just as I sit down, because I've intended that healing to occur in this space. So my space is already alive with the God consciousness that I am of it, and I'm entangling in it. This is why when we go on sacred journeys, thank you, Spirit, and there's so much happening outside right now, all the weather changing so drastically. When I've gone on sacred site visits, the energy of my God consciousness was already in those spaces, and why I have such emotional experiences when I'm in those spaces. And I would love to connect with, universities and schools for, some incredible things that will be happening down the road with archaeology and anthropology, which I was so blessed to take an anthropology class in college, and I absolutely loved it and adored it. And to bring vibrational wisdoms into anthropology, which I've called vibrational anthropology, and bringing the vibrational understandings and wisdoms and songs that are held within those sacred spaces, and whatever the finds dig up, there are vibrations of stories within it, and we can pull that instead of using 3D stories of testing and representations that are not necessarily true for what that item and that space and that sacred experience really holds. So that's really, really exciting. And then also the experience of who we are becoming as galactic and celestial peacekeepers. They were showing me that in this beautiful board game that I was experiencing, they were showing me various times of trigger for me, and just honoring all of my oneness. I'm just clearing as I'm saying this. And how that when they represent themselves to me, they're of a higher vibration. We're only saying this because of the words we have, although in their experience and in their potential, we're saying this just because they're just words we have, but they don't mean anything qualitative or quantitatively. They do, yes, in the essence of our biochemistry and how our light is in the cells, but it's not meant as a less than or higher than, as your value to source, your value to creation, your value to the world, and the value that you have within yourself, because it really isn't. They're just the words that we have as 3D to explain, again, us and the experience we have outside of us. And that's a vibrational experience that we must get used to using, because we're slipping away from the 3D, us and them, you and me, we're separate, we're not. It's just the words we have to express our oneness in every experience that is a different version of our oneness. So if there is a being from the Pleiades that will come and assist me in first contact, they will provide me these experiences of preparation. And they will have certain things happen throughout the week, in my dream time, in the house. They'll provide me experiences in my dreams, in my meditations. I'll feel things multidimensionally, physically, mentally, emotionally, etherically, to prepare for first contact. Light ships will be gathering outside, and they'll be more presentable, and they'll be in a grander way than they've always been, because they've always been with me. So it's not that outlandish for me to talk about these things. They've just always been with me, and I know that. But we're bringing this experience to you so that, I know this sounds a bit long and outdrawn, but it's worth explaining, because there are those tuning in for the first time and those that don't know Joanna, me. When you're presented with an experience that is not anything like what you've experienced before, because we are still biochemical beings of matter, because we are just leaving the ego patterns and cycles and behaviors, we still are, our systems and our bodies will revert back to what it was always comfortable understanding and knowing. So this idea of them and me preparing me, and also for me, what I was going through in my experience, do you see it's a micro macro, that they're presenting themselves to me and I'm presenting myself to those around me, and I've had those glitches and trigger moments. So them would be presenting themselves to me, although they are already in their oneness, but me, I would have that experience of the difference of light between us would create an experience within me that I'm preparing to overcome and just be. That's why neutrality is so important. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Might have taken the long way around, but it's important, because that's how profound neutrality is. All is source. All is a beautiful game. What allows it to be, a game of pain and not pain is what are your intentions as you're playing the game? Are your intentions from ego, or are your intentions just to simply be the best that you can be as spirit and choose from the heart space? That's your presence, consciously creating with spirit, as spirit. And of course, because we're all human and we're still healing all of those ego aspects and all of those soul fragments, there is no judgment, because we're all here going to be faced with moments where we just react out of ego, because we're not fully fifth dimensional yet. And so that's okay. We will always have ego with us. Ego is not a bad thing. We need ego. We require ego. But the ego has been patterned and entrained to be it as our choice, and it's not. Ego helps us manifest in the physicality. That's it. The higher mind is what we surrender to as spirit. The higher mind shows us and guides us and gives us that inspirational wisdom that says, this is what's happening in your reality. How do you want to choose? We still have free will how we choose. We still have free will what feels good. Always honoring how you feel. Does this feel good? Are my body's tuning into something that feels good, or does it feel not in my vibrational choice right now? So that's why tuning into only you, discerning within you, because every moment is preparing you for that moment where you do meet that higher vibrational being. Again, it's just a word, higher vibrational being that you will have to align yourself in neutrality with and honor as oneness. to release the understanding of what I see. Wow, they look totally different than me. Wow, that vibration feels really weird, because when that vibration is so high, it just feels, you know, like who are you? You know, because we have that natural defensiveness, as opposed to just being, hi, how are you? And those are just the behaviors and patterns of our world that are all breaking up now. So just be okay with the minutia and the processing of your becoming oneness. You're becoming neutral. You're becoming whole in who you are, so that you have the ability to have oneness with all beings and all experiences. And we've created such definitions and such, you know, separation, because our world has been so superficially steeped on having certain criteria to be accepted, you know, with money and with standards and with housing and all of those things that are not truly expressed who we are as one. And how does that define us as socio-altruistic leaders and community ambassadors if we're excluding those that, you know, make less than 100,000 a year, which is most of the population? You know, so we're creating new experiences of who are we in oneness. We are all one. It's all a story and a version of you. And so they wanted me to show this. So in this now moment, this is a top-down version of all dimensions, all threads, all earths that you are toggling back and forth from, all things that you call in as a version of you to own as your oneness, to see as a part of you, to see as a part of the world as one that you bring love to. In this now moment, you and source, and you're spiraling in this now moment, you as an epicenter of light, you're spiraling, you're just honoring yourself, and you're present in your oneness, your illumination of unity and neutrality. This might be an experience that you hold is a version of you on another vibrational thread that wants to illuminate something to you as a gift or an inspiration. It might also want to inspire you as a flash or an imprint of who it is to you. And I've had this happen to me. It's really incredible. You know, in this meditation, I had this version of me on another timeline in another planet present herself, and she was quite, you know, she was kind of this really powerful boss lady. And this powerful boss lady had a definite energy, and I was kind of like, you know, like this. And when I was asking my teams, I said, well, what was the relevance of me connecting with that energy? And they were saying it's not an energy that is relevant as to the theme of your soul's purpose. And this is what's good to know when you start opening to your Akash and the many subtle timelines and the many subtle aspects of you that you experience yourself with on. And why it's good that if you do have the ability to tap into the Akash, not to get yourself lost and go there with intention, but just to allow your teams to direct you. And that's the biggest thing that I can say for those that are just entering into new energy exploration. Always use reverence and humility. That way you're always using it with the highest benevolence for you, because it can get lost and you can start creating timelines that are not necessary. And this is a good experience. Why? That being that she showed me herself was similar to the being that I was now. But for me, my vibration that I was in was feeling really, really insecure about my business acumen. You know, I was starting a new business for self experience. And my soul had opened that vision of me to see myself in a more powerful, self-sustaining experience, but not to fully align with that vibration, because it was not necessarily the purity of what my now lifetime benevolence is. Do you see what we're saying? She allowed that experience of confidence and, you know, boss lady energy, but it wasn't where I'm supposed to be fully in this soul's destiny. It was just a vibrational thread that I can pull on and show little glimpses and windows so that I can create my purity of spiritual business self, because it's a small fraction of vibration that I can use to be in my fullness now. And that's why we have the fullness of our soul. Our soul is all encompassing. In any one moment, we can pull different vibrations. This version of me might be a very powerful healer in Lyra, which is what I really want to create from. So I would be pulling more from this vibrational experience than I would on this one. This one, I just needed a short little glimpse. And why it's important that you don't continually thread your way back to energies that you think as the ego mind, wow, I really want that one. She sounds really powerful. And you see what we're saying, because the ego wants that power. It wants to feel as if it's controlling its environment, but it's really not necessary. It's not why you're there. You just showed yourself that glimpse to get a slice of a short snippet of vibration that you can use to help you be really where you want to be, which is a vibrational healer that's starting her own business. Do you see what we're saying? And that's when you continually drop and be centered in neutrality with source. Not judging it, saying, yes, it's a part of me. I'm so great that I met you, but it's not where the majority of your vibration is meant to be. It's just meant to show you this is a part of you. You can take it and then go on your way. Just as they're showing me. And this in you now, and as you're clearing those energies of non-judgment, you're clearing as neutrality, and this is my love for allness, and I'm honoring all that I am and all of my experiences. I'm honoring it, and I love who I am, and I'm honoring who I am. And you're just doing that daily morning clearing. You're co-creating your new oneness and your allness. That feels really good, to own all parts of me and to own all moments of me, and forgive myself for those moments where I didn't handle my allness very well, and I slept, I slipped back into those ego trigger moments of behavior of ego, and that's okay. I'm forgiving myself. I want to expand that moment of my life and create something better. Just as in this moment where I'm doing that, I'm also offering this version of me in that particular experience where she was a big boss lady. She's now threading into me saying, wow, you handled that really well. I'm going to soften, and I'm going to be a little bit softer in me. Because she knew that she, as part of her soul contract, was to also balance the grander part of her. And instead of being just driven by boss lady energy, to also soften within the heart and be a healer experience of her environment. And so it's always that Vesica Pisces. We're often feeding each other the energies that we need to show each other that we are all one. No matter if someone's standing in front of you or it's a vision in your dream or your meditation, so that you take whatever energy is necessary and relevant for that moment. It's always about relevance, always. Your now moment is always about relevance, always, 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 always. Your soul will say, what's relevant for you right now to learn? Here it is in front of you, and we're going to thread it to you. It's you with you speaking with you as the self source. You're going to present yourself as you wake up. Your dreams are also showing you this is what we're going to present yourself with for, because you really know what you want now. And you're going to start calling in those beings of who you really want to play with, because you now know. And so you will present yourself moment for moment, day for day, of what's really important for you. You're going to start threading yourself. I am important. I am valued. I want to start working with those that also value me in that same light. And also being not triggered in whatever comes my way, because I'm just standing in my power, honoring and owning all that is neutral. It's all source. Just various aspects through which we need to see ourselves as another version of ourselves and honor it. I honor the expression that you're allowing me to see and to feel into and honor as my oneness. Because your feelings will show you, and then your higher self will say, well, this is why it's being presented. And right in the middle of it, as we've always said, is the Vesica Pisces. Will always be that divine relationship. It's for me to own and honor and love and release all judgment. Because it's always us. Whether it's you in human form or that celestial being that's coming to you in your dreams or in your house that's always with you, preparing you for that energy that doesn't feel like your energy, but you know that there's energies around you, but it's preparing you for those differentiations of yourself and how to embrace it. It's embracing your allness, embracing your oneness. So just know that it is a loving dance of your allness, knowing that there's sacredness in the challenges and in the struggles, because you align to what you are worthy of, always being, and to have such beliefs that even in the most challenging moments, there's sacredness within it. Because it's been created to show you, can you move through this as a neutral experience of source? Because there's a lesson within it. Compassion, forgiveness, allowing you to stand in your strength, allowing you to know that you can trust your intuitions and know what feels good and what doesn't feel good. Where do you really want to invest your energy and invest your wisdom and invest your healing gifts? You get to choose. It's a beautiful, vast, especially. So they're showing me now, especially for me, for example, because there's so much that's opening up to me, that I have so many potentials that I can thread within, and what timelines are most exciting to me. Do I really want to create a timeline where I'm a specific light healer and light language healer? Or do I want to really focus on first contact? Or archaeology, bringing vibrational stories for all of human storylines and timelines. And how can we awaken new stories from, the old Alexandria library, that all of our ancient texts and stories were kind of, taken away and hidden, and creating these new experiences of oneness and true open potentiality where there's nothing hidden. It's all transparent now. That's the oneness. And we have so many different experiences before us, and we get to choose. What is my destiny calling for me? Am I a leader of spirit? Am I a leader of my integrity of who I am? And can I have oneness in all things? And that's why your soul will test you. I mean, my team's in constant testing and stretching those shades of gray, stretch it out, and they, just keep stretching it out, Joanna. Your soul wants it. Your soul does not want to miss a thing. Your soul will overturn every stone to say, okay, I've got it now. I can move between all realms. And they're showing me, thank you. Just like The beings that have been with me, thank you, that have left our planet in our most recent history, our modern history, I suppose. They're with me in my energy field. Thank you, councils of light, because they're earning their wings as guides as well. And although on now Earth, they're also with us. It's just as Jesus is now with us on other Earths, other timelines. They're earning their wings to be as guides, just as I'm earning my wings to be a guide. So I need to be able to move into all navigational monopoly spaces and icons, if you will. I need to see myself in all moments to know how the vibration of oneness can help honor all vibrations of source. It's all source. We've just been taught that it's not source, that we're not source, we're not special, we're not valued. It's all source. It's all one. So powerful. I feel so honored to bring that forward, and we're so grateful. And we just wanted to pull one alchemy card. I wanted to pull one alchemy card. This is the Elemental Oracle. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And is there any vibrational spirits that would like to speak with us today? Thank you, the Elohim. Thank you. Thank you. Sun gods of ancient times. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Councils of stability. Thank you. There's many different councils that assist us in many different ways vibrationally, that they come to us and see how our humanity rebuilding after. Oh, thank you. This is new. Thank you. There are many different councils that tune in with us. Thank you. That they see us as a global experience and a global tragedy, if you will, global pandemic. And how do we rebuild stability? How and what vibrations do we rebuild stability within? Are we learning from the lessons of our co-creations? Are we rebuilding from the stability that is love and the foundations of truth and oneness and light? Or are we rebuilding in the same manner, just in different ways? And this is something, thank you, that very many collectives are interested in. Are we bringing forward our highest versions of who we are to rebuild in a way that is of a higher potentiation that's threaded with galactic oneness? Because remember, thank you, as we are moving through transition and rebuilding and reinvention, we are threading our galactic threads with our planetary threads with galactic threads of rebuilding, of new stability. Thank you, because we are going through a restabilization on our planet. So can we open our hearts and be that stabilization within ourselves? Again, micro, macro. If in each and every one of us, we were held in knowing of ourselves, not only as the cell, micro, macro, but as a planet, and we've just gone through a planetary destabilization through a virus or an earthquake, whatever we've created for ourselves, that we just were not awake to ourselves as spirit, but now we are. We're going within and we're saying, okay, what are my values? What is the value I hold? Can I release myself from superficiality and see the grander story, the elegant story of who I am within the all? Who am I? What exists within me? And what do I exist within? Those grander stories allow you to restabilize at a higher potential of who you are as spirit. The micro, macro experience is that you, as a planet of Gaia, is going through a restabilization, a refoundation creation. And can we do it from the potentiation of who we are as spirit, so that we have long-lasting and long-term potential of oneness? Because we will be harmonizing, and the future plan for planetary ascension is that we harmonize with our galactic family. Remember, ascension and awakening is about our remembrance of oneness, as spirit, as source, as the all, with the all. So these are the micro, macro potentiations. So they're showing me, thank you, this council that is uniquely studying stabilization. How do planets that are going through destabilization, how do they restabilize? What planets and what councils are offering light to assist in the restabilization? What consciousness, because it's all consciousness, remember. As you awaken, it's your awakening to greater parts of your consciousness, because there is only consciousness. What consciousness attributes, what physical, biophysical attributes, what attributes in the multidimensional perspective of an awakening, of restabilization, are needing greater light, greater love, greater care, greater tools, greater gifts. Do you see what we're saying? So exciting. This is a multidimensional experience. This one council is specifically studying planets that have gone through destabilization, then feeding studies and feedback to the greater systems of light evolutionary programs for the whole. Just as going back to, thank you, now showing me Pleiades, that have gone through their states destabilizing, and many planets that have gone through war, that many planets have gone through destabilization through many other frequencies. Now they're showing me the grays, thank you, through which their programs of hybridization became futile, because of the lack of love and light harmony. And their cloning experiences were destabilizing. They then had to go to another light program to create a hybridized program that could be sustainable long term. So this council, thank you, council. I'm so grateful for your insights and your threading. They're showing me just the threads of all of these other planets that are involved. Just as we're seeing this. This is the center of the light councils, the heavenly light programs. And these are various planets that have gone through destabilization, this micro macro experience. Thank you, Spirit. This morning, before I even started my program, they said that I would be using this light as a multidimensional visual image of the micro macro experience. And we can pertain this to anything. This can be a cell, this can be the universe, this can be you. And all of these planets have created destabilization in some form or way. Because remember, as us within the universe that's going through a universal experience, moving up to a new universe, a universal thread, remember, our multiverse is going through an ascension. So as our universe right here is moving up to a new vibrational potential, it's pulling each other up through the vibrations of consciousness awakening, love, light awakening. So too are these experiences that are going through, planets that are going through destabilization are also offered greater light, greater programs of help and assistance from other planets and other councils to see how they can restabilize. And in this particular universe, our planet is all free will. It has to be the free will of each individual to awaken the free will consciousness to say, I want to be a part of this program. I want to be a part of how I can expand. So too are the planets micro macro. Our planet wants to be a part of evolving and moving through this tragedy, moving through this destabilization. So we're asking for source, we're asking for the universe to assist us in how can we restabilize. So this one council is responsible for being a part of various other planets that have gone through destabilizing and what is used, what is needed, what is being the best, highest tool. How are these tools working and not working? How can we modify and amend? Remember, it's all an evolutionary experience, micro, macro, multiverse, universe, planet, individual. And so it's really, really exciting. So we're thanking you. We're thanking you. And they're saying that there is great excitement because each and every one of us, as we awaken, we're catching on very quickly of our vastness, of our allness, because we now have the tools that we didn't have 20 years ago to understand this at a micro, macro experience. We didn't have the computers and the visions and those of us that could create and connect with those types of visualizations to bring it to paper form to show others, because that's how others need to understand. And then something just clicks. It just clicks within you where that thread of density is now released and you become that micro macro. You then share your light in your field in a way that is different to all of those around you, and they just click. So it's really, really exciting. Thank you, Spirit, and thank you, Spirit, and the councils. And they're watching us recreate and reinvent and rebuild from our destabilization. And what are the true foundations within that rebuilding? What are the true foundations of it? And can it be love and oneness? Because then we will have longevity and we will always be offered the infinite light from all the councils to know that we will restabilize ourselves. We can do this. And our bodies will be healed. We will have better ecology. We will have better oneness with our planet. Oh my gosh. And so the card that came out was expansion. And again, we see all of the beautiful light glyphs and the light councils that are constant, always offering us, remember those assistants of micro macro. And any planet that's going through destabilization, they're also being offered all of the light wisdoms and the infinite help from the heavens and the heavenly councils of evolutionary light programs from above and from below. Because remember, all planets have their own sustenance grids, light grids, depending on what its planet is supposed to experience and explore. Remember, micro, macro. Gaia is no different than us individually. She has her soul's blueprint, and God, source, creator of the heavens, light programs support her in that way. Micro, macro. She's gone through destabilization as many times before, but this is the time where we bring her home. This is the time where we bring her into unity for peaceful co-creation now. No more wars, no more debilitating her, no more throwing her off, because we really get it this time. It is about oneness. And all of these experiences of destabilization, we align with our greater intuitiveness. We align with our greater alignment with source creator. We align with our greater alignment of who we are as a oneness. And we're not going to take ourselves out of that picture and create from ego again. We're going to allow ego to take a breath and be a part of that co-creative process where we're creating really stabilizing experiences for the greater whole that serve the greater whole, because we understand it's us. We can't create in those self-serving experiences anymore. Let's pull one more. Oh, that's great. And we do so from the passions of who we are within and all of the sacred geometry that comes with us to create in light, because everything is a sacred harmonic song of source. How can we create in stabilizing? That evolutionary process begins as that ignition. It's like the alchemic reaction. That alchemic reaction needs that catalyst, which is that fire and that passion, that creative oneness as the sacred child to say, I'm releasing all judgments and all less than and lack than and separation. And I'm going to create through love, which is always the catalyst and inspiration, and compassion and forgiveness, because that allows a new alchemic reaction to take place, a new alchemy. We can only alchemize through love and forgiveness and compassion. It must be alchemized, whether it's you upon someone else or someone else upon you. It's just how we alchemize. My mouth is all pasty from all my DNA activations. Thank you, Spirit. Anyway, thank you, everybody. We thank you so much. For all of those that would like to connect with us, our links are below if you'd like to join us for our World Weekly Ascension classes every Saturday at 1:30 MST. The link is below, 22 USD as a donation. And we are keeping the class sizes small so that we can have time to commune at the end and create those channeled informations from all of our guides and spirits. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Source. We love you so much, and we're so glad that we can be a part of your global experience of oneness and light and love. Thank you. And to all of the beings that are with us, and we're sending you love and light. And always know that you're connected with Spirit at all moments, and call in the angels and the archangels to assist you in clearing your fields and clearing your bodies. We love you so much, and we love you in oneness and light, and we rainbow you. Bye, everybody. Bye. Go have fun.